Hey everyone, whoever is attending this. So I'm Nitya Basrija and I'm GDSC's open source lead at the moment. And I've been an Outreachy alumni. And we'll be having a panel discussion with all our speakers today. So for speakers, we have Parth Agarwal, who has not only done GSoC, but LFX and an XRS fellowship. And I know there was a time when all of those collided and he was just managing it all like a pro. Next, we have Arunima, who is like someone whose post you'll see continuously popping up on LinkedIn or Twitter. If you follow her, you'll be at a moment like, okay, Arunima ka another post aa gaya. Arunima is doing this, Arunima is doing that. So she's an LFX fellow, and as well as that, she's also has been a part of MLH, right? And next we have Bhavna, who is of course our trending LinkedIn creator at the moment, who's flying to various locations and having her trips and speaker events and organizing a lot of things. She is a part of MLH again, and other than that, she's been also the co-founder of SheBuild. So congratulations to her for that. And next we have Suvraneel. So Suvraneel, switch on your camera so that we can give your introduction as well.
Hello.
Yeah, that's what you said after switching on a video. Okay. So we have Suvraneel as well, who is someone you might know essay particularly, but you might have heard about GSoC. Okay, so like girl script coding. So he's the one who is just handling it all behind the scenes there. So he has been the program manager there. Other than that, he has had multiple wins in the Web3 hackathon domain. So it's like he's the one where I get inspiration from when I have to stick to hackathons or ideathons. So welcome everyone, and would you like to introduce yourself? Could say.
Sure.
Let's start
So,
with
yeah, yeah.
Suvraneel.
Okay. So, hello, people. Okay. Sorry, like I was not being able to hear you all. That's why I had to reach out. Fine. So, hello, everyone. So, like Nitya already said, right? I have been part of many hackathons. I'm very active in open source communities and stuff. You might have seen me like in various programs in Web3Conf India. Also, I was one of the organizers. And HyperEdge went to a blockchain last year, and of course the summer of code, summer of code. Like I've been part of it like in 2-3 years consecutively. And right now, like I graduated this year, and like I'm like a working professional now. So yeah, that's about it. Nice to meet
Let's
you all.
let's give the mic to Bhavna now.
Hello everyone, this is Bhawna and currently I'm working as a part-time software engineer at Collabra. And other than that, I'm also the founder and lead organizer of SheBuilds. And I'm pretty much active in open source, like being part of different programs like LFX mentorship and MLH fellowship and XCross fellowship and all. And currently I'm contributing to GitHub community as a GitHub campus expert.
Yeah, so clearly the introduction skipped a few things because it's just a long list of achievements that are never ending. Next we have Arunima.
Hello everyone. My name is Arunima Chaudhary, and I just graduated this year with a bachelor's in computer science. And currently, I'm a master's student at NIT Warangal. And apart from that, I am currently interning at Status and working on the data availability sampling research project. Apart from that, previously I've been an LFX mentee at the Hyperledger Foundation and an MLH fellow at the Solana Labs. So that's about me.
Let's finally give it to Parth Agarwal, who is the smartest of all technically because he's the I-18 of the group. Go for it, Parth.
Hello
I guess
everyone.
you're in your hostel right now as well.
Yes, as Nitya said, I'm from IIT and I'm a seasoned open source developer. I started my journey with Vectel and Pardata. I've done my internships at Torchbox. Then I did my GSoC with Vectel. Then I mentored for Outreachy with Vectel. I became a co-event lead of Outreachy for India. After that, I did my LFX and XROS and what else? GSoC again. So that's a short intro for me.
And I can actually sense your accent, so yeah. Okay. So let's get into the questions. I have a lot of these ready for all of you guys. So let's start with the fact that all of you guys have been a really outgoing person in these opportunity space, right? So if you're applying for MLS, LFX, XROS, or maybe even you're like as Suvraneel is managing all of that. So does connections in open source help? And if it does, how exactly does it is a roadmap maybe to create those connections? Like because one opportunity links to the other, right? So how exactly did you all go about that? Let's start with Bhavna.
Yeah, like I would say, like connections helps a lot. Uh, like let me just share my experience over here. I was an MLH fellow as well as XROS fellow, and I didn't know about all these programs at that time. I got to know about all these programs through the connection that I have on LinkedIn or Twitter. So I would highly suggest, like, if you are follow the persons, those who have similar interests like you, so you got to learn a lot of things, the content they are sharing, and lot more things about it, like the opportunities that they have been part at that particular time. You get to know about that particular things as well.
So, Surinil, is your take something similar, or were you the one who was cold mailing or sending out random Twitter messages to people who had their DMs open?
Yeah, sure. Like, technically, like, see, I have never sent cold mails or something. Like, when starting out, right, you won't have that kind of, what do I say, lead list or something that you can just cold mail.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Bhavna said, initially, like, I didn't do it because, like, I was aiming for something. I really like meeting new people and, getting to new connections who have like-minded, goals and aspirations, right? And so I came into one or more communities, and from there, like it expanded, kept on expanding, and that's how it went on, right? So, and of course, connections help a lot while you are searching for opportunities, like right. And then most of my other things that I have been into, I have got them from maybe Twitter tags, because the friends or connections that you make, right, and you exchange like what is your like you go and ask someone what is your specialty and stuff. So like I tag them, they tag me, and that's how it goes around, right? So yeah.
So, Parth and Arunima, what are your takes as well?
Okay, so coming to connections, I would say one of the major helps I got from my connections was getting my applications reviewed, getting my resume reviewed while I'm applying to certain companies or certain like fellowships and internships. For example, I got rejected from the LFX 11 times, so that's a lot.
Really?
But yes, so but finally then I meet with Bhavna. I think in the Codex Menti group, and I asked her that you got selected now, and congratulations. So can you please help me like find out where I am going wrong? And she really helped me a lot in figuring out my mistakes, and finally I got selected into the program. And also I remember while applying for the MLH fellowship also, if you know Shumana, she I think she graduated from NIT Durgapur, and she helped me getting my MLH application reviewed. And apart from that, I think all like the connections that we make through open source, ultimately they also help us in getting referral for companies while applying for internships and everything. And more than that, I think everyone has a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, the people we connect with on open source. So whenever we interact with them, I think we can learn a lot. And another thing is that let's say we are new to a tech stack and we want to learn. So if we are active in open source, we will always have someone who has been contributing in the tech stack, and that person helps us out in getting started and then contributing. So I think these are some of the helps that I got a lot from open source.
So I believe in leveraging people's experience. Like if I'm starting to contribute in Wikimedia or some organization, I will first find someone who has done it, and then I'll follow their lead, because oftentimes there are things, there are pitfalls, there are communication channel. Like there was Slack channel, and its invite link wasn't available in public. Like you have to mail the person to add you in the group. So for these kind of things, I directly go to DMs and ask them how to start and any pitfalls that I should be looking for. Another thing is, you don't know what you don't know. When you meet people, you hear their stories, you get to know about new things. Like the programs that we have done till now are very mainstream. But other than that, there are programs you might have not heard about. There is Summer of Nix. So I knew someone from IT Kharagpur, and I saw in his LinkedIn that there's Summer of Nix has written. So I asked about it to him, and I applied, and I got selected for it as well. So later I dropped it, but it was a good program.
But you mentioned that you like sent out a DM to these people, right? So how exactly did you go to an organization and like selected that these are the main major contributors here, and let's just DM them? Like maybe they were another beginner. Like you don't really know when you just start into an organization, right? So what are the steps you follow?
I don't find people in organization like that. Like I don't search for people in Slack. I usually go to LinkedIn, like search for keyword. Like if I'm mostly contributing for a program. I'm not contributing randomly. So like I search for GSoC and that organization name, like GSoC and Wikimedia. So I find someone on LinkedIn and I DM them directly. Other than that, now that I've built my network, I know many people in Outreachy. So I ask them directly, like you have done Outreachy in that, please help me, and they do.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the next aspect, which is time management, right? So a lot of these programs really take a lot of time. I know because I have experienced that, and I sort of would give all the credit to my summer break because I had time at that time, but doing it while managing your studies is kind of hectic, right? So how exactly did you all go about that time management phase part? Because you managed three of them at the same time.
For me, there was, I'll say, no management. It was only chaos. I was learning things simultaneously because all of the interns I picked up were using very different tech stack. LFX was DevOps and Vector was using Django and Python, and XROS was another game. It was 3JS and Accentual Technologies. So for time management, I think one thing I do that I don't learn a technology for completely. I speed run things. If I'm using a particular aspect, like suppose I'm using Django and I'm using Django templates, so I'll read about Django templates only and just move ahead.
Okay.
I keep learning bits of it. So I oftentimes don't know the whole picture, but I know how much I need to do my work. So that's how I manage. And academics are good here. Like I can submit assignments late. I just have to manage my midterms and then some exams, and I'm good to go.
That is true. So, what about you, Suvraneel? Because you're not only handling a project, but also like you were kind of in the middle person, right? You were the middleman in the whole organization chain. So, how was your experience dealing with it?
Yeah, I definitely second what Parth said, right? So even when I was a student, of course, like I had pressure in my college and all. So every time I say like collaboration over everything else, you have to make friends who will help you out in your assignments and stuff, so that you can invest your time elsewhere as well, right? So that's one aspect of it. And other than that, I'd say, like you said, I also used to speed run things whenever I need to learn something. Let's say I used to do 2-3 hackathons in a month. There was a time, right? And so every weekend or every day when I came back from college, I was like, I have to learn something new, right? And that is how my tech repertoire like expanded and stuff, right? So maybe in a weekend I learned the entire Spring Stack. Maybe in a weekend I learned the entire, like he said, Parth said. So yeah, that's about it, I guess. Don't learn anything completely because you don't need to ace it completely. You are not researching on a particular thing. Acquire a working knowledge of it so that you can build something productive out of it, right?
Yeah. You mentioned you were part of 2-3 hackathons like every month. So that's basically like most of your weekends gone to hackathons, right? So did you like reuse your ideas or did you build upon one particular project and then escalated it to another level and submit it? How was that?
Yeah, so I try to build new ideas in every hackathon, of course. But other than that, like we of course have to reuse some of things, right? I used to build templates of everything. Let's say I built what do I say, like boilerplate kind of things. Next.js 14 with maybe wallet connect and stuff, connected and stuff. I keep it like that so that whenever I need to, speed run some hackathon, I pick up that boilerplate and from there on I can, take bits and pieces of everything else and build on new
basic foundation work is complete from that end.
Yeah.
So, Bhavna, what about you? You have been managing your time, but also you're still in college, right? So, how exactly does that work up with your schedule? Because you're going to events and all that, and I'm just wondering because I can't really apply because of the academic schedule. So, I'm really hesitating right now. What is going on at the background with you? Because you're flying to a lot of events, and I'm pretty amazed.
I would like to mention it. Sometimes it would be quite hectic. When we are at events, we need to do our office work as well in the event,
Yeah.
in between the event. But you got a chance to explore a city or might be the country as well. So it's a
Hmm.
quite amazing thing. And how I manage time and learn different things. So, I just go to Google or might be the YouTube and search how to learn this thing in just 1 hour. So this is the thing that I mostly follow and learn the basic of certain thing. Let's take an example. You want to learn Vue.js and you learn
Hmm.
some basic stuff of React.js. So it would be very not that much hectic for you to learn a new technology and the framework. Just learn its basic and you
Absolutely.
can go through their documentation and you will be most probably you will be able to understand that particular stuff and build a small project through that you get some good understanding of the things and then you are good to go to contribute in any project that you want to do. So mostly I follow this particular steps to learn new things. And time management, I might not be the best person to give suggestion on this. I'm not the very good person because these people are the ones that who manages time very efficiently. But sometimes like we need to prioritize our work, like make our priorities. Might be the my priorities will be my office work, and then after that my college studies and all. But being an engineer, we mostly study just before 1 week towards the exam, so I
Fair
follow
enough.
the same stuff. But having a great HOD that supports you. If you want a visa letter for your application, she will be very happy for the things that you are doing. So it really helps you a lot if you have a amazing HOD who appreciate whatever you are doing. So my HOD is very amazing person. Like she supports me whatever I am doing. So that's why I'm able to take a lot of leaves in my college as well. So, this is how I'm managing time. Arunima, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was in my bachelor's, it was the COVID time. So we all were at home. And it was not very hectic to manage everything together. But as soon as as things reopened, and after that I joined my master's program, and things went very hectic because the course structure at NIT Warangal was
Yeah.
it is hectic. So managing that and LFX mentorship was another task. But what I did was I always maintained the tasks that I have to do, like a list of tasks every day that I have to do. And that helped me stay focused and stick to those tasks. Another thing is that something that saved a lot of time for me is that asking the questions at the right time. So whenever I feel stuck at something, and another thing is not reading the entire documentation. I just read the part for like which I need to debug and for which I need for the project. I don't
Okay.
go through the entire
So
documentation.
I'll interrupt you here. So let's say there's an issue that says like you have to fix some time scheduler event in some JS library, right? So you'll just research on that aspect only and then do it. Yeah. Would you prefer Bhavna's method of how to do it in 1 hour and get a brief overview? Do you prefer like a completely focused approach or like a brief overview?
If by taking if just by reading some parts of it I can solve the issue and get my work done, I will not read that for now, and I will keep that.
Okay.
I will just write down that if whenever I get time I will read it. I will not read it now. So if I can fix it, and if I cannot fix it, if that requires for me to read the entire thing, then I will just do a fast reading and go through that. And
Yeah,
another
that
thing
saves
is
time.
Yeah, so another thing is asking questions at the right time. So not just if we are stuck at something for 2 to 3 hours, it's better we ask our mentors rather than remaining stuck there. So I think that really saves a lot of time because often it's just a small thing that we are missing out, and it's causing the error again and again. So asking my mentors at the correct time saved a lot of time for me.
Okay. So the next sort of questions would be based on all the open source opportunities you've all been part of. So first, I would like to start with Arunima on this one because you mentioned you applied to LFX like 11 times, you were rejected, and finally you got approved, right? So how did exactly did you manage the whole heartbreak of that? But also, what exactly was the advice Bhavna gave that made your application go through, right? So please share the hack of cracking LFX.
Okay, so previously while I was applying, I didn't have much things to write in my resume. My resume was pretty basic, but after I did MLH, I had that background of blockchain in my resume, and Hyperledger is also something that works on blockchain technology. And apart from that, I had won a few write-a-thons that helped me, and my Hashnote profile. I mentioned it on my cover letter. I think what Bhavna helped me was that, organizing my cover letter properly, which I was
Okay.
just, instead of writing the four questions that LFX asked and just answering them, how we can organize, like giving a brief introduction, then writing about our projects, writing about our experiences, writing the answers to the question, and then at the end also giving a timeline for the project. And
Okay.
also writing that why am I the best person for this. So I think finally what I was missing out was organizing my cover letter properly. I was just answering those questions and submitting it again and again. And I think that was why I was getting rejected. And for my LFX, after the cover letter round, I also had an interview round. And yeah, that I think the cover letter made the difference. That's where Bhavna helped me a lot.
And Bhavna, what about you? How was
Yeah,
your
like
application process and what would be the tips you would give for XROS, LFX, and MLS?
so as Arunimati suggested for the LFX mentorship, your cover letter makes a lot changes in your application. The thing is like mostly the mentor who do not know you and how the certain person make your image, how did you know the particular things or no not, so on the basis of your cover letter that you are presenting to the mentor, uh, he or she can suggest like, is this person know this particular thing, so you just need to apply your experience, like whether you this particular work on this particular things or not before, so that mentor have certain idea like you will be able to complete this particular project on time or not. So like cover letter very important for your application. Other than that, like if you have interviews and all, just be confident, and if you do not know this particular thing, just appreciate and give answer to the particular interviewer like, I didn't know this particular thing as of now, but I will definitely learn about this during the program itself. So this particular thing I would like to think about it. And other than that part, would you like to add anything about the edFix mentorship here?
Uh, yes, so my approach to effect was a bit different. Used to attend the community meetings of CNCF. For every CNCF community, there is a community meeting bi-weekly or maybe once a week. So I used to attend it. So every mentor recognized my face, and I used to discuss with them about the project. Other than that, I used to contribute to the org. I was contributing to Haba. I also contributed to Vites. So I had a good background in that. And in my cover letter, I already had some achievement. I had my intern and my outreach. I mentored for outreach. So I made sure that I'm leveraging them properly. I pushed them, pushed my achievements, and yeah, I added a timeline and a proposal kind of thing at the end of my cover letter. Instead of those four generic questions, you should add.
This is true because even in Outreachy, there was a huge discussion that took place after we all submitted our applications. The thing was, the people who tend to write a good proposal and a better timeline is someone who maintainers can rely on, right? Because they have tried to structure it all out about how the problems will be solved in a case. So, yeah. But Suvraneel, what about you? Because you were on the backside of the entire Girls Kids Summer of Code. So did you see them for something particular in those applications, or was it like as as the inputs we just got?
Yeah, sure. So one thing I'd like to say is like when you are writing a proposal, right? Of course, these people have much more experience than me, right? So what they have said, of course, you have to do it. But apart from that, there is no one particular roadmap of how you will write a proposal, right? What we see when we are seeing a proposal is we try to see if you are being true to yourself. Like you have to customize it according to yourself. It should reflect of what you are trying to bring into the program, right? So that is one aspect of it. I would say when you are trying to get into a program, find a project that really interests you. Research the code base, go to the Discord server or something, attend the meets, talk with people who have maybe contributed before, and in your proposal, in certain programs, right, you can mention the project that you want to contribute to, and in your proposals also mention what is the things that you like the enhancements and stuff what you will be doing bringing forward to them, right? So yeah, apart from that, most of the applications that we receive are like very generic ones, right? Of course, now you have Chat GPT and stuff, but even before that, most of them were very generic. So yeah, something should stand out, and yeah, it's your call.
So,
Right? Yeah.
when you say something should stand out, right? So, what exactly do you mean by that? Should the person be like, let's say there's like an absolute beginner. How exactly does he make himself or herself stand out from the millions of other beginners?
Yeah, sure. So, assuming like you are applying to a open source program, like a good, the cutoff ratio of which is very less. For example, MLH is like 2.5%, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so for that, I would say you have to have some basic understanding of the stuff that you are going to be contributing to it. And maybe you can showcase, of course, you have to showcase what you have done before that. How will you be, how active you will be during the program, and that sort of thing. That's the thing you have to highlight, right? So that, and of course, if you have no previous experience, I would say make small contributions to the project, even outside maybe the program, right?
Okay, yeah.
So research the code base and read out if it maybe make issues, maybe point them out that these are the things I'll be willing to change and enhance, and that's about it.
Okay. So let's come back to Parth. So Parth, you have been a mentor for Outreachy, right? So how exactly did you go about seeing proposals and timelines there? Because as a mentor, you have to be the one who is selecting all of those participants, right? So what did you particularly look into those applications?
I think before application, there are a lot of things that come into our notice. We see contribution, how much a person is contributing, and we see how much someone is compatible to our community. There were two people, Lovett Makaro, and there was Albina. So I think other than being the best contributor, they were the best communicator. They were helping a lot of people, and in their application, they were precise. Albina's application was really good. She had a perfect timeline. There was a backup if you fail in that milestone, we have extra time for it. So these kind of things. And one thing from a personal experience that I do to make my application stand out is for XROS. Like in XROS was extended reality based. So I made a metaverse version of my proposal. So it's not my proposal. I had a doc form, which like for GitHub proposal you share, and I added a metaverse version on which you can go and see my proposal in a 3D view. Like I'm even sharing the link here.
So
You may check it out.
that's how you make your application stand out. So let's say a 3D timeline, and also you have the backup thing for the contributor you were mentioning. So that's really a nice tip which I'll be using, and I recommend other people to do as well.
Yeah, that was like secret trick for XROS.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have we talked about contacts and connections, right? And also the tech stack and all of that. But let's say you use, like, this is a very open question. Let's say you all fixed issues or participated in a particularly, let's say, a Python repository. Okay, not even a Python repository, you are working in Python's main organization, which is the language where everything is derived from. And still, the fact remains that you can't be a pro at everything, right? You cannot be a pro at even one language without having multiple years of experience, which frankly neither of us have because we're still like really new to this field. So, how exactly do we go about fixing issues, but at the same time having a deep knowledge that in our resume we can have a thing that this is what we did and we are pro at this language? So, anyone can take it.
Yeah, sure. So the thing is, bottom line is you are never pro at any one language, right? And no one is expecting you to be pro at it. Maybe when you are starting out, whenever you are learning something new, translate it to a project, and that is how you will be remembering most of the features. Whenever you need to know something, you just go and read the documentation, right? So that's how it works. Even in corporate, like whenever in my work opportunities and stuff, of course, when we are hired or when we are onboarded to a new project, we know none of the like might know some of the programming language, and that's about it, right? So the tech stacks, maybe internal tools, maybe many other things you have to see, right? And all of those things you can learn, right? But what matters is your communication skills and how you have to explain to the people how you are bringing a particular thing, right? How you will be managing all the stuff that's gonna be thrown at you. So yeah.
Communication really is the key with the whole aspect because it really builds up the trust between people, right? Because you're actually interacting and not just showing them that yeah, this is an organization that will and or a program that will pay me eventually, so I'm just here. But talking really builds the connection there. So Bhavna, do you have any other points you would like to add on here?
Yeah, sure. So when you just start learning new things, first of all, you need to have some basic understanding. Whatever you are learning, like you are learning how to create 3D models in Python. You are done with like how to create 3D models in that. After that, what you need to do, just go through the some basic projects, open source project that have been mentioned over there, and start contributing, start taking good first issues, and if you're comfortable with that, after that you can take some good issues. So what I want to take it over here, like focus on quality instead of quantity. Most of the people think like solve more issues, we will be pro in that particular thing. I would say pick up a issue that might be add certain feature in a particular organization that adds more value instead of solving 10 bugs. So this is the thing that I would suggest. Like when I was in extras fellow, I just contributed in one issue and I created the whole dashboard in a certain issue. And my mentor is so much happy, and he just asked me like, "Would you continue with us?" And I got my first role over from there, like first remote role from there, because what contribution you are making in a certain organization, how valuable that particular contribution to the organization itself. So this makes very sense for the organization as well. So I would suggest, like, if you want to like get certain role through the open source, just focus on quality instead of quantity.
Also, you mentioned that you got your, first open source but remote job as well, right? Because of open source. So you were interning, rather working as a developer at Monado as well. So how exactly did you go from an organization to like making contacts, or was it through open source, or was it through a freelancing website, or was it through a like random apply on some well found or some website for outside jobs? Why am I struggling so much?
uh, like I did my extras fellowship with Monado XR. It's around 3 months. I'm working with my mentor, and like Monado XR is a basically an open source project which is come under Collabra organization, which is a company. Uh, you can think it like that. Like in Microsoft, there are certain teams like Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Windows, and other teams. So in the same way, like Collabra also have different team like Monado XR, IV team.
Okay.
So I'm working on a certain teams in a certain team at a certain different project. So from there, my mentor loved the skills that I have been working on, because it's my first time working with 3D technologies like Blender, Core C++, how to build models with that. Uh, So I created the whole dashboard in just 3 months, and it's ready to launch as well. So like my mentor just asked me certain question like, Bhavna, would you like to continue with us for a few more months and as a part-time employee, because I have a student as well, so I can't commit 9 to 5 or like job role type things. So I suggested this particular thing to the mentor, and he agreed as well. So this is how like instead, like he also didn't take any interview for in my case, because he know like the whatever the work I did, I know the things. And in this way, like they pay very well, and being a student, you are getting paid as a FANG engineer. It's pretty too much. And like there's certain, like they have different offices like in Canada, and like in upcoming 2024 we might have a trip to Canada as well. So let's see how it goes. And
Stay tuned
this
for
is
the
my
journey on
CV.
LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay. So Arunima, this is like a major concern with people because I've seen you do this, and I've sort of took inspiration from that because I see you posting a lot on LinkedIn, like not just LinkedIn but also on Twitter as well. So it's like you celebrate all of your wins, but sometimes people do think that is this win something worthy? Should I post it or not? I was really into that phase. So do you think posting that much has helped you in some way or the other?
Yes, it does help in a lot of ways. It helps you like uh, it helps you. I think one of the main things that I got from posting was making a lot of connections.
Okay.
So let's see, when I posted about MLH, maybe a lot of folks came and approached me that help me out with the MLH. And whenever someone approaches me, instead of chatting, I just ask that person that let's schedule a meet and let's talk over a meet. I think that's a better way of helping out someone. So in that way, I made a lot of connections who later helped me a lot in getting selected in other programs and discovering other opportunities, or maybe just learning a lot of things. So yes, it does help. It helped me in that way. And I think posting about your wins is a good thing. It often helps you like get into the eyes of recruiters, and you get certain opportunities through that. It didn't happen that way with me ever, but it has happened with a lot of folks.
And what about you, Parth? I know you got like a background offer from some company to like build their India headquarters, but you declined that. So, do you want to share that journey?
Firstly, I haven't declined it. It's just I was in my second year and I can't take it up at that moment. So it's a story from my second year when I was contributing for the first time for GSoC. I was contributing to Vactil. I contributed around 25 pull requests before GSoC, and I submitted a proposal. Vactil selected my proposal, but eventually we didn't get a slot from Google. So I was ultimately turned down for GSoC, but there was a parent company of Vactil called Torchbox. So Torchbox asked me they can sponsor my work. They'll be paying me the same amount, and my project will be going the same way as GSoC. So I took it on. I call it a pseudo GSoC, but you can also call it an internship, just an internship. So after the internship was over, they were really impressed with my work, and they offered me a role at Torchbox. Like I received a direct message from the founder and director. Like they asked me, like they want to open an India office. Will you be interested? So I was overwhelmed. I didn't know if they are joking or it's real. So I contacted my mentor, and they said that he wants me to join Torchbox at UK, and after a few years, bring it to India. That was the entire journey.
But you all had a thing, like one thing connected you to other. So, how exactly was there some specific organizations you picked particularly, or it just happened by the stroke of luck? So, like, Suvraneel, what are your takes? Because you just started out and you were like a program manager at Girl Script Summer of Code, right? Was it a stroke of luck, or were you targeting Girl Script Summer of Code and interacting with all the higher up people?
Yeah. So one thing I believe is like Nitya said, I was not just a developer. I was also into the management side, right? So one thing I always do is whenever I take something up, I put my heart and soul into it, right? So even though I have college and stuff, like of course there is need for prioritizing different stuff, but it was COVID time, I guess, and we were at home. So of course, there was much time left for other stuff. And what I did was, I started out as a contributor, and I did many contributions. Praveen also, Praveen was my supervisor then, right? And that's how right? There were maybe 300 contributors under the same project, but I think maybe 2 or 3 people only had connections with him afterwards, right? Yeah. So that's the sort of commitment you need to show to a particular thing. So from there only, I become a mentor, a supervisor, and I also participate in several other programs. And then finally, maybe after 1.5 years, I became the program manager. Right? They approached me, and then also I interviewed and stuff, and they talked with other people who all recommended me, and then I got to be the program manager. Right? So one thing that is very important is you there is no time for relaxing and stuff. Like when you are into something, make sure you're doing it perfectly. Don't go in 2 3 boards together and maybe think all of them, right? So yeah, that kind of stuff. I also I had applied for some other open source programs, right? The cutoff of which was less, and I have also been rejected many times, right? And so what I did was I went and did my own open source program. But yes, and when I got the opportunity to get into those, was actually committed to some other contract bound programs. I could not get into the normal ones, like the big ones. So yeah, that's about it. But what I say is, whichever you're doing, do it perfectly, right? Don't apply if you're selected in 2 3, maybe one internship, one program, and don't go all 3 4 at a time and think all of them. That's very important.
So, Bhavna, Arunima, Parth, would you like to add upon it?
Yes. So I completely agree with it. Like if you are doing an internship, you should be focusing on that. As I told about my first internship with Vactel, I contributed so much to it. Like the work I did in my other 3 internships is less than the work I did with Vactel in that single internship. And even after that, I remained connected with Vactel. I became mentor, did GSoC, and still I'm connected with them. So that's important. And another thing is that opportunities come by and they will go away if you are not taking them. Like I had a goal initially when I saw my seniors, they had done LFX and GSoC. So I used to think if I do both of those things, I'll be a god level tier. But after that, my goal became that I want to complete every open source program out there. And I started applying like crazy. I wasn't rejected for any of the program I applied last year. So it was hectic. It was challenging. I think if I had done less program, I could have learned more with each of them. But that's my USP right now. The guy who did 3 internships, I'm famous for that thing. So no regrets. You have to work hard, very hard, if you are trying to achieve something extraordinary.
What about you, Arunima?
Okay, so I think for me, I would say that it was never a stroke of luck. I got rejected a lot of times, and every time I got rejected, I tried to figure out why I'm getting rejected and like worked on it. Even for MLH, in the main fellowship, I got rejected 3 times, and then I got selected for the prep fellowship. So I think every time I got rejected, I worked on myself, and that small improvements. And I also started observing like what are the reasons why others are getting rejected, right? So that helped me a lot on improving my application and working on myself and finally getting selected. As I said that there might be some luck, but it's not entirely luck. If you apply to 10 places and you are a good candidate, you will get selected in 1 or 2.
So you mentioned that you observe not just the reason for you getting rejected, but also others getting rejected, right? And we did talk about having a good timeline and proposals, and even a backup plan if something goes wrong in your proposal or let's say cover letter. But are there any other aspects as well to this entire getting rejected or selected criteria here?
I think there can be a lot of reasons of getting rejected. We can just figure out, but we can always work on ourselves. There cannot be a single reason and a single way to get selected. Everyone is different, and I think another thing is I would say that always don't apply to random organizations. Always apply to organizations whose tech stacks you have some background with. Okay, so like let's say in my MLH fellowship, I just mentioned there that I want to learn about blockchain. Okay, but all the next internships I got was on blockchain. So I think that MLH fellowship helped me a lot in getting the next internships. Even the current internship, like its status, my 50% of the questions were around the work that I did in Solana Labs.
Mm.
Okay, so I would say apply to organization. Don't just randomly apply to everything. Just select it and then apply properly to the organizations in which you have a background with. That will help you stand out.
Okay. What are your takes on this, Bhavna?
Yeah, like I agree with all the panelist things that they have mentioned. So I believe like God plans is way better than ours. So I always follow this particular approach. I would just like to share my experience over here. So like in the like in November itself, like I gave my interview for Microsoft internship, and luckily I got selected as well. And at that particular time, I just missed the offer letter by 2 3 days. So this might be the chance, like I would be interning with Nitesh at Microsoft at that particular time. But no worries, like I got a good, a great offer than that. So like mostly like the thing is like sometimes we need to go with the God plans as well. So I mostly follow that, and I agree with the points that other panelists says over here.
Okay, so the panel discussion will continue, but meanwhile, I saw some of the people raise their hands. So, if someone from the audience has any questions or queries for some of the panelists or me, you can just go ahead and ask if someone has any queries. Anyone? Let's see if we have something in the chat. Hmm. Tanishka Agarwal asked what blockchain. So I guess that was some time ago. So I guess Bhavna, Suvraneel, Arunima all have worked on blockchain. Parth, have you worked on blockchain?
Only a little bit.
Yeah,
Not much.
so that applies on everyone. We can't exactly go with that. Okay. Let's how to select. Okay. So the questions are happening now. Okay, so first we have from Manik, how to select a mentor in a particular technology. I don't think so. We select a mentor; it gets assigned to us. But anyone wants to take it up? How to select a mentor in a particular technology? Path.
Like what kind of mentor for projects they're already assigned? Like, what are you asking?
Manik, do you want to expand on your question? Is it something like let's say if someone wants to learn JavaScript or something, so who exactly do we search up on LinkedIn and then find a particular mentor mentee match, something like that? Or is it something related to programs? Because in programs, it's more of a mentor selects its mentees rather than the other way around.
So I believe like he's asking like let's say you want to learn a particular technology and not as a part of any program or something like if you are applying to a particular open source program or a anywhere, then you are assigned a mentor by itself. You don't get to choose it. That's one aspect of it. But if you are looking for a mentor like in a general sense, I'd say just go Google find on LinkedIn who is posting nice resources on it, right? And accordingly you can connect. Don't go for mentors who have what do I say, they have many people to mentor, right? Find someone who has time for you, who can who you see active in the community. Maybe I would say if you are learning a particular technology, what I usually do is go to the Slack or the Discord, and there you will get community discussions. There you can ask questions via text, or you can join in a call and then you can speak, right? So that's how you find mentors. But there's not one particular person who is very good at something. So I'd just say talk to many people, right? And I'm sure there is no one I've seen in any community who is not willing to help someone out, right? So you just have to ask. Basically, if you never ask, you miss 100% of the shot you don't take, right? You try asking someone. I'm sure you will find your solution.
Okay, Manik has responded with a thanks. So let's move on to Anjali's question. So, are you guys managing DSA with all this? Trust me, I've talked to these guys, and to an extent, we are all struggling. But let's hear your take. Let's start with Arunima.
Okay, so I didn't manage TSA when I was a bachelor student, to be honest, which is something I don't suggest anyone to do. Don't do this, please. So, in my third year after I cracked it, I was just doing open source and learning about various technologies because I had it in my mind that if I do an internship, I want to do it a remote one. And after that, anyway, I will be going to my master's and then I will be practicing DSA. And when I, like in the first semester of my master's itself, I had a subject called advanced algorithms. So, and also a lab called computational thinking lab. And both of these are DSA based. So that helped me a lot to cover up all the things that I didn't do back in my bachelor's. So that's how I did DSA. And now I think I have a good grip of it. I just need some practice daily to do it. So, if you're struggling to manage DSA, I would suggest one thing with DSA is that you have to be regular. So, try to take out time, like at least 1 hour to 2 hours daily for DSA. It should not be a big issue.
But someone
But
who's
be
like,
regular.
but someone who did the 3 internships, like Parth, how did you handle your DSA journey?
So I didn't handle it, and I think I was able to do that because my course is a 5 year. It's an integrated dual degree course, so I always had a little more time than others, and yeah, I try doing it side by side at the time right now.
Suvraneel, your hot takes.
So again, just like Arunima said, I'd suggest that you don't do what I did. Right. There was a time when I used to do DSA. When I was in my second year, I was the competitive programming lead for the core shape chapter of our college, and that's when I was very regular. Right. I used to solve all the contests. I used to regularly solve on various platforms. All the platforms you know of, I used to do that there. Right. But from there, once I got into open source programs and on the development side of it, I started enjoying it so much. I left it somewhere behind it, but I still had in my BTech I had computer science, right? So of course I had to study it for my curriculum. Of course I had 2-3 maybe semester in 2-3 semester I had subjects related to it. Of course you have to have no basic knowledge of it, but again, I'm what I mean is you have to have problem solving skills. I wouldn't say you have to do very hardcore DSA, but yes, if you're trying to get into FANG companies, it all depends on where you are aiming, right? If you want to get into a FANG company or trying to take a MNC that has much competition, I'd say you research and study the DSA. You do the problems that they ask frequently. But apart from that, if you're aiming startups and stuff, or if you're aiming maybe a particular technology, maybe blockchain firms, maybe other, I'd say you acquire a taste of what do I say, the particular domain, right? You make a niche of it and then you study that, right? So once again, Nitya very well knows my DSA journey. So yeah, I'm not regular, but yes, I'd suggest if you are trying to learn, if you're trying to get good at DSA, please be regular, please be consistent. You don't have to do much of it in one day, but continuous process, right?
Yeah, knowing your DSA journey, I'll just record this clip and send it to you over and over again when we discuss DSA next. This is what you said. This is what you're doing.
Sure, please.
I would like to add one more thing that DSA, like I said, that I'm currently interning at Status, and it's a completely a blockchain based, a Web3 based company. But even in that, it's a startup. But even in that, my 50% of the interview was DSA based. So they gave me a problem related to blockchain only, but it required me to have some concepts of graph and analyzing the graphs, the graph structure, the DFS, BFS, and they required me to have a good understanding of graphs to solve it and probability as well. So it's not that skipping DSA you can go to startups. Often in the startup interviews also you can have DSA. Another thing I would like to add is that let's say whenever you are reading something, one thing, studying a topic, let's say graph, you are practicing it, try to refer to a textbook. For me, it really helped a lot. It gave me a solid understanding of the concept so that I don't forget it. So I referred to Coreman. As I had it in my course curriculum, I had to read it. But reading that was a game changer. It helped me get a very good understanding of the concepts.
Can you type in the name of the book so that all of the audience gets it?
Corman. Okay, one thing I'd like to thanks Arunima for pointing it out. What I meant was I need to clarify that a bit. What I meant was you don't need to be into competitive programming. What I said was some people are very much, they are doing ICPC level things. So if you are aiming for that kind of company, maybe quant company or different kind of things, then you do that much hardcore DSA. Otherwise, of course, you have to have a basic understanding of it. Like I said, I had computer science and like 2-3 semesters I had related subjects. You have to have basic problem solving skills. You don't need to know what graphs do, BFS, DFS. In fact, my final year project was on decentralized, graph algorithms and stuff, centrality measures and stuff. So of course, you have to have a very cool understanding of DSA, of the basic stuff, and Corman definitely helps you with it. I'm sure your curriculum, like AICP, I suppose, suggests Corman as a textbook, and it's a very cool book if you are very much, interested in what do I say, problem solving and stuff. But yes, you have to have a basic knowledge, but you don't need to. You do it religiously only if you are aiming that kind of company. That's what I meant.
Exactly. You are correct.
So, what are your takes on this, Arunima? Because did you interview for any of the roles? Like you said that there were no interviews, right? But when you switch on another role, right, most probably it is going to be remote. So, do you think that they would ask you some more DSA questions, or would it be completely skill based? And if so, how exactly are you going to prepare for it?
For DSA, I think I keep practicing lead code. I'm not into competitive programming, so I cannot say you anything about it. But I do practice lead code, and I don't think like I'm not the perfect person to say like about companies, about the FANG companies, how much level is required. But as far as like as much interviews I have given, it was sufficient for me.
Okay. What are your takes on this? Where did she go? I guess I unpinned her. Bhavna, I unpinned her and now she's nowhere to be seen. Bhavna, did we lose you?
Yeah. Actually, my internet connection just lost in the middle. What question is going in over here?
Yeah, we're discussing how we manage DSA, which frankly we did not.
Yeah, the last point that I have heard, like Arunima was sharing, her experience of the interview itself. So, if you just come into the like FANG itself, or in the company culture, then you notice like the problem solving skills that you have used in the DSA and all will help you a lot. Like where I'm working, like let's take an example of the dice algo. Most probably, if you're solving DSA problem, you mostly heard about this particular algorithm. And if you want to go from here to there and the destination to the arrival point, and that you mostly use Google Maps. So Google Maps is also using this particular algorithm in the somewhat in the background itself. So here's the perfect example you can take from the like DSA algorithms and all. So like if you are doing DSA, this will definitely help you in the development stuff and easier work. Like it increase your problem solving skills, like how you need to optimize the code and complexity times and lot more things, because we need to write the code that runs fast and give the output in the correct way. We do not want to see the YouTube short 10 minutes delayed by certain things. So developer need to take care of this particular things. Once you come in the corporate environment, you will definitely think about this particular things, like how this particular things being working over here, DS and stuff. So might be helpful.
So next we have Purvi's question. So open source projects are sometimes too big to understand, and the whole project while contributing might seem intimidating. How to approach such projects? So yeah, I would like to expand further on this question by the fact that all of you guys do please add in a little about how exactly did you forked or cloned the repository onto your system and had all of the dependencies and all that sorted because VS Code acts up sometimes. So let's start with Arunima on this one.
Okay, so I think if you are contributing to the tech side, like writing code and stuff, and if like I would say I always contributed to the projects that I'm a bit familiar with. So let's see, at least I know more than 50% of the tech stacks. Otherwise, it will get really confusing to understand the code base. So the first project that I contributed to was I think on a code level was layer 5, and I contributed to the front-end projects, and I had studied about JavaScript earlier. So that's why I chose it. And I got to know about it from the LFX mentorship website. So starting with, first of all, fork the project in your GitHub, and then comes setting up the project. So for setting up the project, there are two files, readme.md and contributing.md. Most of the time, these two files will have all the instructions for setting up. If not, then ask it in the community channel that which from where I can get the instructions for setting up the project. I would say follow those instructions properly. Uh, I don't know much about, but I think a lot of folks face problem when they work with Windows. So try shifting to Linux. Try shifting to Linux. It reduces a lot of work and saves a lot of time, and it's
Yeah.
great for development.
There's something Parth has advised me to do multiple times. Parth, do you want to expand on the aspect of setting up and understanding big code spaces?
Yes, so as Arunima said, you need to set up a project in your system, follow the documentation for it. One thing that I get to know early on is what is present in each directory. Like sometimes it's a standard directory like of React or Django, you know what's present in each of them. But other than that, I ask mentors that what's present in each directory. And yeah, the directly start working on some issue, and I reach the files where they're present, and I usually contribute to that directory only unless I need to switch. So whenever I need to switch, I ask about it and I work around.
What about you, Bhavna, and Suvraneel as well? Because Suvraneel has worked with so many tech stacks at this point. I have just given up on the fact that he has just done every single thing at one point.
Yeah, Bhavna, will you like to take it first?
Yeah, sure. So, I agree with Arunima and Parth point. Like, you just need to go through the documentation and stuff like contribution.mt file and other files like readme file. They mostly mention the things like how you need to set up the particular project in your local directory and all. Other than that, the things that I have learned by contributing in different projects, being active in the community. Like if you are facing any issues, you can directly ask in the community itself instead of tagging the mentor, because most probably the doubt you are facing might be the other person also facing. At that particular time, he or she will be able to help you out in that particular stuff. Instead, you will disturb the mentor because mentor being stuck with different things. Like they are also working in certain organization and they might be not able to reply to your question at that particular time. So the thing is, other than that, start with good first issue, from where you can get the particular what is it called, the good structure about the project, like how the things working in the project, good understanding of the project. After that, you can take different issues that add different values in the project itself. That's all. Once हम लोग ने भी जब start करा था, we are also at the same place. If we did not take our first action, we wouldn't be able to reach there where we are. So हमें बस फर्स्ट स्टेप लेना होता है, then you will be able to guess whatever you can achieve from that.
Yeah. So I'd like to I agree with all the people what they have said, all the panelists, right? I would like to sum it up. Basically, I'll give you a systematic approach. First, when you are approaching a project, read the readme.md. There they have set the basic setting up commands and bash scripts and all. And apart from that, read the contributing.md that will have the contribution guidelines and the best practices that you should follow. Right? Maybe the linter, what lint they're following, maybe some other things that you need to follow while coding the standard, right? And next up, after you have cloned it, I would say study the project structure and the layers. When you are seeing a big production code base for a particular company, there will be various layers: the DAO layer, the data layer, the various business layer, and different kind of layers. So you figure out where exactly they have placed a particular kind of code, right? So when you're studying a layer, you will know that these components they have placed here, these are the components that they have placed here. So you have to understand the entire flow of the program, from where the user input is going, where it's getting processed, from where it is fetching stuff, and when it is coming back, right? So once you are familiar with the flow, you don't need to study all the components. Once you're familiar with the flow, you can particularly focus on a particular niche and break it up piece by piece, right? And whenever you are at doubt, like what a particular piece of code is doing, you can just control click and go inside and see from where it is being referenced to where it is defined and that sort of thing. So that's how you contribute to a project.
Control and click in VS Code is like the magic recipe to just dig deeper into any project, particularly.
And apart from that, like Bhavna said, whenever there are some things when you're working on bleeding edge or whenever something is very new, right? Some documentation mostly has the documentation and Stack Overflow mostly have the things to mostly have the recipes to the usual errors that people face. But apart from that, when you're working at something that is very new, right? Let's say Next.js 14 was new when I started working on it. So what I did was I went to the Slack and the Discord and asked questions there, right? And the people who are the maintainers, who are maintaining the repo, they only answer. So that is very important that you speak with people.
So you went out and got the Slack channel or Discord channel link directly to the organization's repository, right? Okay.
Yes.
So because
And
you know that Slack channels do exist, but Discord channels exist as well is something new to me. Because our organization, there are a few Discord channels, but they are pretty rare.
No, there are like you will of course find there will be one particular community where the community is active, right? There will be one particular medium where the community is active, because no technology survives without a community around it. It is eventually bound to die out if there's not community resources and people helping each other, right? So there will be a community, find it, and there will be people willing to help who are sitting there, right? So yeah, they will help you out, and you can debug it according to it, and you can contribute it slowly and consistently. Don't just give up. Like starting out is the first step to it, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Purvi has expanded her question and said, sometimes the project requires us to create our own issue or contribute to already existing one. Yeah. So some issues are already assigned. This is all very confusing. Where can we study about how to actually, okay, a little grammatical errors, but yeah. So basically the thing is, I'll give my take. So the thing is, when there are some issues that are already assigned to someone else, you basically follow the open source code of conduct, so that you don't openly just create a PR when someone else is working on it. So you tag the maintainers, or like maybe the person who's working on it, to work together rather than make it a competitive spirit. So that will take you long ways in an organization or any open source program in general. Other than that, create our own issues is something that is good practice, but it's not something that you will be able to come across frequently if it's a let's say a great or grand organization. Like you can't exactly go out and ask the Python developers to just change the font here, this is not good. So that won't be the something that they would be entertaining. Other than that, how exactly does open source contributions happen and the whole issue system and all that? Would any of you like to expand more?
I think I can go with it. Most of the time, what I've seen is that in open source, even if the issue is assigned Especially for the older issues, it's often that the person who is assigned is not no longer working on it.
Yeah.
So in that case, what you can do is that you can just leave a comment that, hey, are you still working on the issue? If yes, can we collaborate on working on it? And most of the time, it will happen that they will reply that saying that no, I am no longer working on the issue, and will unassign themselves, and then you can take up the issue. So this has helped me a lot in many times, and it happens in every project. Like there are some issues, older issues, which are assigned to someone, but that is the person is no longer working on it.
So
So
I
you
guess
can just
yeah. So the tip here would be like, let's say Arunima said in a very good tone that I'd like to work on it, and she got assigned to an issue. But 2 years later, I come across it and I see Arunima's being assigned to that, and I really want to work upon it. So what I can do is drop in a text there or a comment that I would like to work upon it as well. If Arunima is working actively, so maybe we'll do a collab, or maybe I'll be asked to work on some other issue. If I do not get a reply or response from anyone for like let's say 1 to 2 days, I would just go out and stalk Arunima's profile, GitHub profile, because we can actually see the contributions they are doing recently. So I might see Arunima working on a completely different repository or another project. So I can see that she is not really connected to that project or let's say issue anymore, or maybe she doesn't relate or work on it. So I can start working on it that way. Bhavna, would you like to add on it? You have like a little bulb going around.
Uh, like I mostly think you folks edit all the things. As of now, like I haven't uh, have anything to add it over here. Parth, would you like to add anything over here?
Yes. So, as Arunima said, when the issue is old enough and someone is assigned to it, you may often find that they have made a PR, but the PR is incomplete. So, I kind of resurrected many PRs. They were incomplete, they needed review. You can review them and build on top of that. That way, the credit goes to them as well as you. And another thing that you may do is if you don't find issues, you can create your own. Like, suppose you are exploring a website and you feel there should be a dark mode. You can open an issue that I want to add dark mode to it. You can inneralize things. You can make a Docker version of things. And suppose while you're setting up a project and you find difficulties or you find instructions are unclear or something needs to be added, so you can open an issue for that. That this needs to be added, and you can make a PR for the same. So that's how I go around.
Okay, so do we have any other questions? And meanwhile, people type in their questions. Let's do like a rapid fire thing here. So let's start with Arunima. Okay, so Arunima and other panelists, I'll quickly tell you the rules. The thing is, I'll say a few words, and you will have to link your resources that comes to the mind first. So let's say I say that a study resource that you're something your go-to study resource can be free code camp, right? Your go-to language for DSA could be Java. So something like that, and let's start. So Arunima, are you ready?
yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's start with your go-to study resource.
Blogs, YouTube, and books.
Blogs. Okay, blogs. So
Blogs.
do you prefer blogs on Hashnode or Medium?
Sometimes Medium, sometimes Hashnote, depending on the topic that I get it better.
Okay, fair enough. Next we have, let's say you want to apply for some technical roles or something. Which is the platform you would go to?
I generally prefer LinkedIn to find out which are the companies that have open roles, and then go to the career site and apply from there.
Okay. Um, what is your procedure for getting any referrals if you do that?
LinkedIn. I just message the people who are there. I found out like if I have any connections working in that company, then I will ask them, or else I will just send out cold mails for referrals.
Okay, in your open source journey, which is the most like heartwarming open source repository or organization that you would recommend beginners to go to?
Layer 5.
Layer 5. Okay, let's go to Suvraneel now. So Suvraneel, ready?
Sure.
Okay, so go to study resource.
Well, you first Google it, then you go to maybe if you're learning a new language, you go to a site called learnanything.xyz. There you will find a whimsical or various list of all the things that you should study when you're starting out. Other than that, of course, there's YouTube. There's the particular documentation. Documentation is my favorite. Like for anything when I'm studying, that's the official documentation. You go there. So yeah.
What is your favorite platform to apply for jobs or any random organization or event?
Yeah, so mostly it is either Twitter or Telegram for me. LinkedIn, of course, LinkedIn is also there, but LinkedIn is mostly for getting referrals and maybe connecting to people. The people who are more active on Twitter, I message them on Twitter or Telegram. Yeah.
So, how exactly do you find someone's Telegram group or contact there?
Yeah, so some of the people of like if you are active in some of the Discord communities, you see they mention it on their profile bio. You have to research it a little more. Or sometimes when I speak on Twitter, they hand me out the Telegram because Telegram is like WhatsApp, but your name is your number is obscured, right? So that's why they prefer Telegram over it. So yeah.
Okay, and which would be the open source organization that you would refer for beginners?
Beginners, I would of course refer to my own like the where I was manager. Right, because Summer of Code is a good way to start out if you are applying somewhere else like Google Summer of Code or MLH or let's say CNCF. There's Summer of Bitcoin. There are other programs, right? So GSoC. Other than that, there's also KG. I think there's a Kharagpur Winter of Code or something. There's some JGEC programs like that, right? Where the acceptance rate is a bit more.
So, but if you had to pick a open source repository rather than an organized program organization, like pick a repository that is like closest to your heart.
There's no such thing as of now, but yes, you can start out with if you're into Web3, you can start out with Francisco's repository. If you are starting out in other like if you're starting out only with Git and GitHub and OpenSource, you can go explore ReadyHub.
ReadyHub, yeah, that's a good resource. Okay, so let's go over to Bhavna. Bhavna, you ready?
Yeah.
Is this light bulb going to like suddenly glow or something?
No, I think so.
Alright. So, what is your go-to study resource?
So mostly through blogs, mainly on Hashnode or Medium, and other than that, I love reading tech stories on Twitter or threads and other things. And YouTube as well.
Twitter, do expand on this.
Like mostly the content creators on Twitter share their journey or some basic stuff about different tech stuff. So I love reading threads over there. Yeah, that's all.
So, what is your platform for referrals or maybe job roles, or does it all come to you in your inboxes?
Mainly through LinkedIn and Twitter.
Okay, so let's say you pick Twitter, so right? So majority of the people do have their DMs closed on Twitter. So how exactly do you go about that then? Do you like tag them or do you like comment on their post a lot so that they finally follow you back and then you can have a conversation? How exactly does it go?
So like if I want to reach out someone, so I just go through their profile and they mostly have a certain website where they mostly have all the handles of their social media like LinkedIn and business email. So if they have a business email, I just email my query, and if I want to invite him for a certain session and all, I just provide a brief intro about that. And this is the way like I mostly follow. I mostly prefer not to comment on certain posts. It adds very bad impression of us as well. So that's why.
All right. Okay. So what is your favorite OS repository that you would recommend a beginner? And what is the OS repository that you hold close to your heart?
So the repository I prefer for beginners is Internet Health Support. Uh, this year might be this repository is coming for GSoC as well. So if you are someone interested in JavaScript and all, you can come and contribute on that particular project. I might be the mentor for that particular one. Other than that, the repository which is very close to my heart is Radarbase. I made my first contribution over there.
That's good. Do we have any other favorite repository? Because that was because solely our love for first contribution. Other than that, do you have any other one which is closest to your heart?
Not exactly Radarbase.
So you're like completely database fan. Alright. Okay, Parth, you ready?
Always.
Always. Yeah, this is the attitude we are like expecting from someone who manages three internships.
Don't overstress it.
Alright, so what is your favorite go-to resource?
YouTube and dev.to.
Can you type in this URL or resource in the chat box for everyone to read? Dev.to. Okay, so is this something like, is this some, okay, hash node we knew. Okay, so dev.to, does this give you like roadmaps or something, or do they teach and everything?
Depends on what I'm searching. If I find the article on dev.to, I refer to that. Like my mentor LB, he used to write in dev.to, so I follow him oftentimes.
Okay. So what is your go-to platform for applying to other organizations or maybe some job roles?
Never did, but if I do, then I'll be doing it through LinkedIn, through my alumni.
Yeah, so the IIT fan base and networking starts here. Good. All right. So, what is the OS repository that you would recommend to a beginner? And what is the OS repository that you hold closest to your heart?
Answer to both is Wagtail. Wagtail is very friendly, its community is very active, and they have this tradition that whenever you make a small PR, even if it's a typo change, then typo fixing, then they'll add your name to contributor list, and it's very uplifting.
That's good to know. Okay. So, other than Wagtail, do you recommend any other organization for someone who's new to the open source world?
Then it depends on what they're exploring. I think CNCF is good if you're exploring DevOps. There's Kubernetes and CNCF, so that's a good place to start.
Okay. So, let's switch back to Arunima. Arunima round two. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say now this round two would be like based on your personal experiences. So the questions will be different from now on. So you can't exactly prepare in your mind while I ask. So Arunima, your journey has been completely like you got a lot of rejections and then you finally got to that goal, right? So you had that mindset of getting into that MLH or getting into that LFX community. So, how exactly does someone gets multiple, let's say, rejections at the same time go about this whole process?
Like I didn't get your question correctly.
Okay, so you got a lot of rejections, right? So, what
Yeah.
was the mindset that you had, or maybe the connections you made? What was the journey behind it all that let you stay afloat and contribute to open source and all that without giving up, basically?
Uh, I just kept contributing. I had it in my mind. Like I got to know about GSoC when I was in my first year or second year, I guess. But that time in my second year, I got to know about it. But then I made up my mind that I want to prepare for GATE now. I keep it for third year. Once I crack that exam, after that I will do all these things. So since I had it in my mind from so long, I always wanted to do it. So I just kept trying and trying and trying, and then it happened. I think the first time out of the three rejections in MLH, two times I reached till the final interview. So that gave me a lot of like motivation that if I keep on improving myself, I can crack it. So it was this. It was just that patience and working on myself and that in my mind that I want to crack it now.
Also, you're pursuing your master's right now. So, what exactly, like, what was the mind shift, mind change, or mentality behind the whole pursuing a particular field in master's?
From my first year, I had it in my mind that I want to do my masters, and I want to do it here from India. So I had in my mind that I want to prepare for GATE. Also, I think the masters, the courses help you a lot. It like I think every course it is like the things that they teach. And especially reading such thick books in such a small time. Like just 1 week before the exam, we have to complete the entire book. So I didn't know that it will have so many advantages before I came to this college. But when I become a part of like NIT Warangal, it really helped me. The courses that I study here become like get a better understanding of advanced operating system. So in my operating system lab, we had assignments like design the file system, design mounting, write the code for it. So these things really helped me a lot, and it helped me a lot to crack my current internship also. The things that I read in my masters. So yeah.
Okay, also we have another question from Purvi. So, what was the student developers packs main applications that you used? Did you use the student GitHub student pack?
Not really.
I'll take this.
Yeah.
So I have made use of many of the tools. They are very useful ones as well. Canva, of course, they offer the free 1 year thing, and apart from that, they also give you many things like code spaces. GitHub Copilot is a lifesaver, honestly. And apart from that, there are also they give you domains for several of your projects. If you are starting up something new, maybe a new hackathon project or something you want to do, take it to the big leagues, then definitely that will help you. Apart from that, I guess they also give you testing tools. They give you CI/CD tools and stuff. Triaging. What do I say? There are many things, right?
Like a lot
So
of as
yeah,
well.
it also gives you interview cake and other subscriptions for other sites. If you are into a particular thing, it gives you a complete pack of everything that you might need as a developer. But as myself, I have mostly used Copilot and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, other than GitHub Copilot, what other AI tools have you been using?
Yeah, like of course, ChatGPT I have to mention. Apart from that, I actually had ChatGPT for like I got it with a few of my friends, right? And apart from that, of course, Midjourney and Lexica and the other things that help us generate images on the go, and those are really helpful in generating assets and stuff, right, for my designs. So, yeah.
What about you, Bhavna? Did you use any AI tools other than GitHub Copilot?
Yeah, like Bard and ChatGPT. It helps me a lot for writing emails and lot more things.
So, any other AI tools other than these?
Not exactly. I forgot the name, the website that I use for generating the images and assets that we can use for making our like hackathon project assets and all. We'll definitely type it out over the chat if I remember the name.
Lexica Art, I use Lexica Art for it.
Yeah, I've heard about Lexica Art.
Yeah, I also use the same.
Yeah. So, coming back to the previous question, did you use any of the GitHub Student Packs applications?
Yeah, like I mostly use GitHub Copilot almost every day because it's a very good tool if you're a developer and you're working with code base on a everyday basis. And other than that, I sometimes I use Figma Premium as well because they provide instead of Canva, they are now providing Figma Premium. Because currently I'm learning designs stuff as well. So just playing with Figma and all. Uh, Other than that, they provide some Google credits as well. If you are hosting your websites on Azure as well, so you can use some tools credits there as well. And I think I use as of now I use only these three particular tools, but there are a lot more. Like if you are a DevOps person, they provide certain hosting facilities, CI/CD, hotline web. So the thing is that so you can use that as well, and a lot more things.
So, honest answer is to say कि you have been using the AI tools. So, have you been solving more issues, or like is the AI boom helping you a lot with that? And what is the entire background story of that? Sometimes I saw like you just go ahead and type it out in the AI section, and the AI just gives you the entire solution of how exactly you have to build upon it. Suvraneel.
Yeah, sure. So I would suggest don't blindly copy something. Maybe make a prompt and write it in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will mostly give you answers. Don't just blindly do it. But what I do is you leverage AI to boost your productivity, right? That is the reason why I see someone has mentioned black box AI as well. It is heavy, so I don't use it. But yes, apart from that, these tools do what? They give you an entire code snippet. I don't prefer that. I use Copilot because it generates small pieces of code, right? So when I type something out, it will give me suggested options, and then when I write something else, it will change it accordingly, right? So this will help you in the long run, because this will help you, get to know the technology better, right? Rather than writing the entire code for you. So yeah, that's about it.
So coming back to Parth, what is your preferred GitHub choice in the developers pack?
It used to be Canva Premium, but after that, I started using Figma. And then there's GitHub Copilot. I think these are the only two I use. There was also Frontend Masters. I haven't used it personally, but I heard that their courses are really good, so you may check it out.
Do you plan on using any of the other ones? Because seeing that you have had experience in all of those domains, because again, I'll mention the guy who did 3 internships. Yeah, so you had to be someone who was interacting and also learning with the cloud domain, right? So a lot of DevOps and all that. Would you
Yeah,
be using them, or do you plan on using them? What's the background?
maybe I can someday. Like, I haven't even explored them right now.
Okay. So do we have any other questions?
Another, I'd like to add a few more. Okay, so if you are into a particular general utility thing, right, you can use leverage DigitalOcean and Microsoft Azure as well. I have not personally used them, but they're good if you are hosting something. You can also look into Bootstrap Studio when you are pressed for time. It is like a drag and drop website builder. I had used it in second year maybe when I got the pack, right? And like they also give you several icon packs for your website, opticons, and you can leverage it. Like when you need, you can just go and find it there. So yeah, that's
Okay, so now we will switch to Bhavna, and okay, we also have a question. Please explain about the GitHub Copilot. Okay, so does anyone want to take it up? How exactly do we use GitHub Copilot and all that? Let's go with Bhavna only, because Bhavna is like the advocate here for GitHub Copilot.
Actually, as of now, I'm not on my PC. It's almost dead. So if anyone else can share their screen and show.
So Suvraneel, want to take it up?
Yeah, I mean, I could share my screen, but I don't think you need to. I need to, given the time frame. Basically, what you do is when you have the GitHub Student Pack or when you have GitHub Pro, with it comes GitHub Code Spaces. They give you maybe some fixed minutes of it, right? And apart from that, you have GitHub Copilot. So what Copilot helps is once it's enabled, whenever you write, whenever you are, let's say I'm writing a TSX file, right? It's a TypeScript file. So whenever I write a particular thing and I press dot, I press particular keystroke, on the basis of what you are exactly doing, it analyzes the vicinity of the code and it gives you what it suggests what you are trying to do, right? So it's a lifesaver because many a times when you are doing hackathons, maybe there's a 48-hour hackathon and you are at a particular place and you are very much pressed for time. It's maybe 3 o'clock in the morning and it's a lifesaver then, right? It will just suggest you maybe entire paras of code, maybe 2-3 lines at a time, and then you can make a particular changes. You can, of course, you have to proofread it and change it a little bit, tweak it a little bit, but yes, that's how it works. You don't have to really do anything. You just do your normal code, like how you code, and it will keep on suggesting. So yeah.
So basically, a code paraphrasing tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
it's like an assistant that will help you. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another question. Any websites you guys can suggest? Like if I want to make app, so image/asset, I have to use in some sort of having color. Okay. Okay. So Basically, Anjali is trying to ask about a website, AI or generally, which creates images or assets that has some sort of color changes or same application. Maybe I guess she's trying to look upon something that makes a particularly themed images or assets.
Again, Lexica.art, like you said, but I don't think it's free anymore. But yes, sure. Mid Journey is also there. You basically write prompts and it will give you images based on that. You just have to, learn what sort of prompts you have to give. Maybe the keywords, maybe things like how to define theme, which which particular parts of the prompt it will give more weightage to. Right. For that you have to know the particular syntax, maybe 2:1, or there are different syntaxes, right? So I would suggest you look into that. And the AI websites you can leverage, and of course Figma and Unsplash. If you are using Unsplash and stuff, Figma will let you import all those images, and that's how it works. Right. So yeah. Also, you can explore Dribble and Figma community. They have really good connections, collection of resources. Right.
Right.
Bhavna,
So,
you want to add?
coming. Yeah, go ahead, Suvraneel.
Yeah, like I mostly use Figma and I try to design my own assets that I want to take it out from just copying pasting from different websites. And other than that, I mostly use Dribble as well for designing the efforts and other things for suggestions type of thing. And it's good to go and working for me. Arunima, would you like to add anything?
Uh, yeah, so I'm sharing the link of a GitHub repo. It has like a list of all the AI tools that one can use. I never tried all of them because there are many. So if you want, you can just check that. This is like the AI Infinity, and it has a lot of AI tools, so you can check that out.
Yeah, so a lot of resources in the chat section. Parth, do you want to add your take as well?
I use Figma only, Figma and Figma community. Mostly, I don't need to add graphics, but if I do, I use Figma.
All right. Okay, so another question is, where did you learn development from? Any particular resource? We did cover this in the rapid chat. So I guess we will just send you a recording and you can refer back to it. And the next question would be, okay, is LinkedIn profile help? Yeah, okay. So basically, Manik is trying to ask that how much has your LinkedIn profiles helped you in internships or job applications or anything? Or is it solely based on your resume and skill sets? So I would say LinkedIn does help a lot if you have maintained it, and posting frequently really helps a lot. So I guess Arunima would be the better suited person to take it up first.
Uh, yeah, LinkedIn helps. LinkedIn helps in getting noticed. It helps you, stand out a lot. But ultimately, when the interview happens, for me, but whatever interview I've given, it happened based on my resume. But LinkedIn helps you stand out, get those referrals, get noticed, and so yeah, it helps in that way. But in the interview, it's ultimately based on what you write in your resume, because every time you are working on a new tech stack, you don't generally mention all the tech stacks in your resume, right? You try to optimize it and get those referrals and
I guess Arunima, your voice is breaking a little. Your like video completely stopped in the middle.
okay. So can you hear now?
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Okay, so I was just saying that LinkedIn helps in getting noticed. It helps you to stand out, getting those referrals, getting noticed by companies. But when we finally apply to the company, we optimize our resume according to that company. So let's say I have volunteered somewhere. I will maybe keep that on LinkedIn, but I will not write that on my resume. I will optimize my resume as much as I can. So the interview happens on based on the resume wherever I have interviewed. But getting selected, getting noticed, even getting that interview call, LinkedIn helps a lot.
Parth,
Often recruiters reach out to you uh, if you have a good LinkedIn profile and a good presence on LinkedIn. It helps a lot. But the interview happens on the based on the resume.
it does happen a lot that you will probably be invited to some interview or a role, but then it all solely like rests upon the skills, having but comparing between two people who have the same skill set, having a better LinkedIn would help you. Parth, would you like to expand or add something to this?
Yeah, so I think LinkedIn profile is very important because it's a public face to others. They see your profile, they see what you're posting, and you can expand your network a lot through this. Like I've been getting offers from many startups. Like they just see my LinkedIn profile, and they offer me some internship or other things.
So, what are these offers like, majorly based on like tech stack wise?
There was one involving Linux kernel. Another was, I think, he didn't disclose what kind of project we are about to do. He just asked if you're available, and I said no, I'm not available.
Yeah, just straight up no.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, in case of making connections, which one will you prefer, Twitter or LinkedIn? So, let's do a rapid fire on this one. So, Parth, Twitter or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, Twitter scares me.
Arunima, Twitter or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Suvraneel,
Twitter.
Bhavna.
Twitter.
So, yeah, we can't majorly say it's a consensus. I guess you'll have to work with both of it, Manik. And yeah, what's my take on it? I prefer LinkedIn, but I'm actually starting to build upon my Twitter profile now recently. Okay, so next we have Bhavna. So, Bhavna, your rapid fire round two is here. So, we're seeing you in multiple events and organizations, and you're like giving away a lot of talks. So, how exactly do you go about preparing for these talks? Do you have resources or do you have like presentations made? Is it all automatically made through AI? How exactly are you managing it all?
If you're asking me how I got to know about this particular conference is going it over here and all, so you must need to be active on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Mostly people or the organization, let's take an example of Noam. Noam organized three events all over the India and the world, like Noam Summit karke. So from there you got a chance and apply there as a speaker, and from there I got to know about like some of my connections is working there at NOM. So they just shared a post about that, and I got a suggestion over there. So if you are active on social, you got to know about different conferences, and other than that, you need to active on KubeCon website, like Linux Foundation do different type of events like KubeCon and Cube Day and like different programs. So for there you can apply there as a speaker. But like being a part of a speaker, you must have certain experience in different fields. At least the thing that you are speaking over there. And if you are a student, you can apply for a scholarship, because if you are going for a certain conference in other country, it costs a lot. So you can apply for a or like scholarship where you get some reimbursement over there, and like that's all. And if you're asking me regarding the conferences, so I mostly speak about open source and my yeah DanCon scholarship. We just need to show like if you are attending this particular event, so why you want to attend this particular event. If you get selected, how it is it useful for you as well as the Relax Foundation community. So it's really amazing program. So if you want, you can apply for the scholarship. So mostly the beginners who are just entered into Linux Foundation ecosystem, they mostly get it out. And other than that, like for creating, just submit the rule that I follow to apply for certain programs. Like if I am applying for a PyCon India conference, so this particular conference is mainly focused on Python. So I try to choose a topic which signifies towards a Python. Like I choose the topic like how to make 3D models using Python. I have expertise in that. I use this particular thing, and this particular thing is also helpful for the organizers who is organizing the conference. So try to choose the topic wisely, because these particular conferences is very what I call competition thing. Very good speakers are over there, and you definitely meet a chance to meet some amazing people over there in person. So this way you can apply for different conferences and get selected.
So, Suvraneel, even you have been part of a lot of conferences related to Web3 and blockchain. So, what would you like to add upon this?
Yeah, definitely. Like one thing is first, of course, you have to optimize your LinkedIn, GitHub, Twitter, every profile. You have to stay at the top of it because it has helped me showcase it to clients, to other people who ask like if you have particular expertise in particular technology. So that does help. And apart from that, in conferences, you have to be pretty active. Like I am pretty active because initially because I actually have a passion for it. I love attending conferences, meeting new people, connecting with speakers, right? So looking back at WebCon, where I was not even a speaker, I was basically hosting the panels and hosting it all. So there also through these conferences you come to know about various organizations and the people, DevRels and people who work in it, right? So yeah, needless to say, like I did get offers there, right? And so yes, that's how it helps. Basically, if you don't like do it for the sake of it, do it because you enjoy it, right? So when you are into it, I'm sure people will connect and in the long term, if you keep contact with them, it will land you new opportunities. You just have to know where to look for it, like get referrals and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so Manik is asking, I've seen that some speakers put memes in their slides in Indian conferences like DevFest. Is this same fashion followed in international conferences as well? To an extent, yes. I mean, it's more about creating people and the interaction it causes. So, anyone wants to take it up?
Bhavana should I
Yes,
think
yeah,
more experience.
like international.
Some speakers would love to take different memes in their conference because it adds sometimes what is it called, like interaction between the participant as well as the speakers, and the person who is just sleeping in between the conferences, they just get some interaction over there. So I also love taking different memes in the international talks, because in this way we can connect with different people, but sometimes it would be really difficult to connect with that particular folks because might be the memes which is famous in India is not be famous over there. So but it's worth experience.
I think, in India, memes are more famous. And
Yeah,
every time there is a lot of memes coming up.
not just memes, but also generally speaking, random reels as well. People do share them a lot.
Yeah.
So yes, so I wouldn't speak like I don't have the experience to speak out international conferences, right? But I would still say it provides a means for connecting with people. I personally love memes, right? So it really like it's escape from the boring like if you are hearing all the protocols, like someone is coming, some speaker is giving talk on something, and then continuously you are sitting for 2-3 hours. These memes are like really way to connect with your audience. They will get their attention and sort of it, like because ultimately they're also people. They are even if they are trying to learn, right, at some point of time they might have fatigue or some sort of thing, right? So memes and you know uh, doing Easter eggs and stuff like that definitely captures their attention. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have another question from Purvi. And Purvi, this is no worries. You can ask a lot of questions. We have all the time. Okay, so let's redirect this one to Parth first. So, Parth, what would be your learning go-to resource for React.js, let's say? Because as Surya's mentioned, there are many creators on YouTube, but they often don't teach it. We're able to make projects directly after studying. Okay, so basically, she's saying that she needs some resources that help her with hands-on project building.
Free code camp is good, and if let's say someone is starting from scratch, like they don't even know HTML, JavaScript, CSS, then there is a course on Udemy of Angela Yu. It teaches one stack completely. There's another course called from Code Camp. I think it's a free code camp. No, it was a web developer bootcamp by Cold Steel. It doesn't teach React, but it's a great course for beginners.
All right. Arunima, do you want to add upon it?
Uh, yeah, sure. So I think, let me say, to be honest, when I knew nothing about blockchain, but the moment I got selected into MLH, it was the first time I was working on blockchain. And what I feel that if you want to learn something, the best way is to start working, like contribute to open source projects. And while contributing, if you're not able to understand some code, use ChatGPT. Just copy paste the code in ChatGPT and ask it to explain. That works. But I think the if you are asking like how to understand those complex concepts, I learned the complex concept while I was doing the internships, not by watching any video. While doing, we understand more, I think.
Um, yes, so I'd really like to expand upon Parth's point. My learning curve was exactly like his. So when I was learning React.js, I did it from Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp has a very cool complete front-end certification or something. The cool part about it is that they give you a, I think, blockchain verified certificate at the end. So it's a, I think 300, 400 hours course, and that's a very deep knowledge about it, right? So even if you are very new to React and JS and stuff, they have courses for it. There are HTML, CSS courses. There's JavaScript, CDSA algorithms courses. There's so on. There's React. There's also backend. So yeah, that's definitely one resource. I have personally never got the AngelU course, but I have heard that it's a good one. So yeah, you can definitely follow up on that. But I personally don't prefer YouTube videos honestly, because it's something that I think of it as a tutorial help, because if you are seeing it, you will get caught in the loop and make the same things over and over, right? So that's why I would not like to name any creators on it, but mostly I prefer documentation. Even if you are reading the official documentation, get a basic working knowledge of it, get into projects. Doing is the best way of learning, right? Once you are into it, once you are coding, once you need to make a component of something, you will eventually figure it out. Of course, we did not have ChatGPT then, but you also have that now. So that's a very good, AI assistant that will help you out as well. So yeah, that's what.
Okay. Bhavna, your hot takes on React.js particularly?
Uh, would say Free Code Camp. Their course is very good. Front end as well as back end. If you're looking for back end stuff as well, Node.js course is very good. And yeah, like I mostly followed Free Code Camp course when I was just learning React as well as Vue.js. So it's good to go.
All right. Okay, so do we have any other questions? Okay, so Shreya had one doubt about, yeah, Bhavna, I guess cleared it. Okay, so let's just quickly like review all of the different open source organizations and the timelines in particularly. So let's start with Suvraneel. So Suvraneel, you have been managing Girl Script Summer of Code. So what exactly is the timeline for Girl Script Summer of Code?
Yeah, it's they have programs, not just Summer of Code. They have programs all around the year. But for Summer of Code, it's the applications open on January or February, right? And the program commences from March. So that's the timeline, 3 months program. And of course, they also have winter programs, winter of blockchain. There's other, other programs. There are like 5, 6 programs that they're a part of. Just keep eye on the official handles. And yes, there are also other open source programs that you can contribute to, like the Kharagpur one. There's I think JGC something. There are many programs, right? So yeah. Okay. Also, Purva, sorry to interrupt. There's a question I saw from Purvi. Purvi, if you find some courses outdated, it tends to be like that, right? So I prefer you study you refer to the official documentation. MongoDB has a very cool documentation, I guess. So yeah.
Not just documentation, but also the blogs that people are posting recently. Like it was mentioned that Bhavna reads from the Twitter thread, so even that helps because that wouldn't exactly be outdated, right? It's a recent thing.
Yeah, refer to the docs, refer to the blogs, right? And you will also find that threads, or many creators actually post threads, right? They write blogs, follow them. That's about it.
Also, I know you guys are typing in the chat section, but in case you wanna talk to us, you can just raise your hands and speak out a question as well. Other than that, it's completely fine. I can just read it out from there. Okay, Manik here has a little bit of complaint, but he's mainly the question is how exactly do we connect with people who have many followers on LinkedIn? Any tip or hack? I guess while sending out the connection request, do add in a little bit of message like how exactly you got to know about them. If you have any questions, if you want to connect for some particular reason, I guess that increases your chances. Other than that, does anyone else have any tip?
Yeah, Manik, I'd say like write a small personal connection message about why you want to, like, why are you connecting with them, what you are expecting from them, because people who have more number of followers, you will obviously, they will have spams and several kind of stuff, right? So they might be cautious of it, I would say, right? So I don't know about followers who don't like intentionally don't accept requests, but I would say write a small personal message that really helps. Right?
Yeah.
I would like to add that while you are asking certain questions, please do your research before asking the question. So if someone is asking me on LinkedIn that what is MLH,
Yeah, so
it's very difficult for me to answer to such questions. Rather, if someone is applying and asking me that please review my application, I would obviously answer to that back to that person.
Yeah,
Another thing is,
don't leave
uh,
open-ended questions like hi. I get messages
exactly.
like that.
Exactly. Then, it's very, no one is going to reply back. Another thing I would say that let's say you are trying to connect with someone who has been a part of MLH or Outreachy, don't connect at the last moment.
yeah.
Just before, 2 days before the application deadline, please don't do that. It's not possible. They have their own work. Give at least 2 weeks for them to go through the messages and so that, they can reply back and you can work on the feedback given. So I think uh, first is that ask proper questions. And one thing that helps me connect with people who have a lot of followers is that see the communities or the open source communities they are active on. So maybe you can like jump into that community and start connecting there.
So there'll be a personal connect rather than just finding you on LinkedIn and finding your profile
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Bhavna? What are your takes on this?
Yeah, like I agree with Arunima. Mostly the people reach out to me, what is a village fellowship. So I mostly what I did, I created a podcast on YouTube. I share the link of that particular thing with the people, and mostly all the questions that they have got cleared through that. So it might be the great way. Like if you are did certain program, you can record a video, share your experience. So instead of typing all the time to different people, you can share the link of that podcast.
Yeah. Part, do you want to add on to it?
I usually accept all of the connection requests I get unless the profile seems suspicious, but I don't reply to many messages because most of them are generic, like guide me for GSoC. So, like these kind of things you should be reading on documentation or on the official website. What you should be asking, like, if you have a certain doubt about it, if you want me to review the proposal or certain thing about my org you want to know, don't answer a generic question.
Also, I would suggest that because ChatGPT is in boom, so people often just get something written down by ChatGPT, so it's kind of
Yeah.
redundant and easily captured by us that okay, this is clearly written by ChatGPT. So, I mean, I do appreciate the efforts that went into the even searching up a prompt, but seemingly I wouldn't accept it. Okay, so we have a question from Anjali, and she knows basics of UI design and Flutter and Firebase integrations. She did a few auth and notification stuff previously just by watching YouTube tutorials, but did not understand much. So she wants to now make some projects to have a hands-on experience and learn further into the concepts of state management and all. After this point, the projects that she made were followed closely by tutorials and understanding the concepts. So now she's feeling a bit unsure about the best way to move forward without going into the tutorial here, I guess. So I guess Suvraneel is the best one to answer this one.
Yeah, sure. Like for state management, like there's Redux, there's Mobix, I think for Android development. There are other stuff, but Honestly, I have done Flutter, but I'm rusty on it, so I wouldn't say what exactly technology you should be using for it. But of course, like go and research Dart.pub or other websites that host the various packages. But yeah, apart from it, if you are trying to get to know a particular technology, again, I would say YouTube is all right for until a particular point of time. I don't watch it. I prefer documentation. Go and see their GitHub repositories. There will be what do I say? There will be basic examples. There's also when you are seeing a package, there will be examples, right? There will be a directory called examples. You go inside that, there will be the various frameworks, Next.js, there will be Django, there will be Spring, there will be various connections, right, for everything. So you go there inside of it and you study the examples, go to the Replit example. They will also link Replit, they will also link Sandbox, right? So you go and see it, study it, and that's how it works, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Bhavna, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think you have covered everything.
Alright, okay. So, do we have any other questions here? I suggest you guys raise your hands and speak up if you do. I did, but still my request didn't accept. Parth is in his, Gen Z mode now.
Sometimes people miss it. Huh? It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe try sending an email or something. I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess if you put enough efforts, people will eventually accept LinkedIn requests. All right. So, moving back to highest paid open source program. Parth, do you want to take it up? Considering.
Yes. So there is P5JS Sound Fellowship. It pays around I think 12,000 USD. Then there is a program from Microsoft. It's about reinforcement learning. So that also pays I think around 10,000 USD. Then there's Outreachy and XROS. XROS started recently. It pays 4 lakh, which translates to 5,000 USD. So yeah, these are the top ones.
All right. Next do we have any other questions? I don't think we have any other questions. Let's just do a. Okay, when will XRS application form open? Bhavna or Parth, either one, take it up.
No announcement till now, but maybe in February or March. We are also looking out for it.
Yeah, so true.
Arunima, do you want to tell us the timelines of LFX and when all we can apply?
I think LFX has three terms, and you can find out about the terms from their website, I guess. I don't remember exactly what are the exact deadlines now, but you can find out about from the website. Just check the website and you'll find out about it. And I would say also follow the organizations on Twitter whenever they are applying for the internships, they post about it on Twitter that we are like the applications are open, and then you can get to know, okay, the applications are open and now we can apply to it.
There's
So
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
There's also a particular repository that hosts all the lists, all the. I don't have the link of it right now, but if you Google, you'll find it eventually. That gives the particular timeline from when to when each of the programs, all the popular open source programs open. Right, you will find it. And apart from that, yes, you follow the official handles in Twitter and LinkedIn. So that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, and also in LFX, currently some of the internships are also of 6 months. So that's in that way you get more time to do your project and more time to connect with the mentors and contribute to the organization. So you can look into that as well, that whether you want a 3 months internship or a 6 months internship, because currently LFX has both type of internship, both 3 months as well as a 6 months one.
Yeah. So, Bhavna, do you want to take it up for the MLH timelines?
Yeah, like MLH fellowship happens 3 times a month, 3 times a year,
Yeah.
like spring, winter, and summer. So the application will open all over the all over the year. So like you can apply for the upcoming term. I think the application for spring got closed, but you can apply for the summer term, and I would highly suggest to apply just for around 3 to 4 months before the application, before the fellowship starts, because application process also takes a time, because they review the application in around 2 to 4 weeks. So it would be helpful if you can apply for the MLH fellowship for 3 to 4 months before the fellowship start.
Are we missing out on something? I guess we covered all of those. Okay, outreach. So yeah, if in case you're planning to apply for outreach, so the application starts soon. So also, if you guys wanna get your proposals reviewed or all, so you can just send in a LinkedIn request or comment with or a message to us, and we'll hopefully review it. Okay, so do we have any other questions, or we will just wrap it up? Okay, so Manik has another question. Suppose we get selected into an open source program and now we don't want to do it or unable to do it. Do we get fined? I don't think so. We get fined.
No, you will not get fined. You can just drop it.
That's
But
the best
do it
part.
gratefully.
Yes, exactly. That's the best part. It's flexible. You do it according to your convenience in whichever time you're convenient for you, right? And it's like you own priorities on your things, right? We have also dropped a few programs. It doesn't matter. Like just see that you do what's best for your career.
All right. So I guess someone from the team can now take a screenshot of us all being say happy. So Arunima, do switch on your cameras. Any of the participants who wanna show us your faces? Let's do a quick picture. I have no idea what just happened. Okay, so I guess the team got these switches now. Alright, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Bhavna. I know you have an exam tomorrow. Thank you, Suvraneel, because you'll be gonna go to work tomorrow, Monday. Okay.
Thanks for having me. And thanks to all the panelists. It was a really insightful session for me as well.
Thank you, Arunima, for taking out your time to answers, and you were particularly free for this one.
Yeah, I'm free rata mostly.
Okay, Pankaj raised his hand. Pankaj, you want to say something?
Sir, just goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. You can close it now.